Welcome, friends,
Segue, Timmy.
to your eviction right before live night. We are super excited to get started here and just kind of get into the night. So we're gonna ask you guys some questions before we get into the eviction. We will start with you, Miss Amy. You were sent into. Oh wait, are you able to talk in the airport? Cool, T. So Amy, you were sent into tomorrow. So technically, you've made it to live night. How does it feel being the first person to have the tomorrow power used on you?
It was confusing because I still didn't really understand the power, but I think it worked out for me because I was really busy today and I'm sitting in an airport, so I didn't really have time to think about this vote or anything like that.
All right, and Blake, this was your second head of household. This is also the second time where you, as the head of household, have put up an outgoing HOH. Do you think that outgoing HOHs are on the trend that they could be in trouble, or do you think it's just pure coincidence?
Oh, girl, that was not even a part of my thought process. But now that you put it that way, I definitely think it might just be a coincidence. My reasonings were completely different.
Benny.
All right. We'll go on to Nick. Nick, how do we feel that tomorrow's power is going to be used in the future, and how much longer do you think that power will go on for?
I honestly don't expect it to last very many more rounds. And I think that I could expect it to be used exactly the way it was used this week, to maybe just send someone who you want to see in the next round into the next round and guarantee that they're there.
Jeremy, there have been whispers about, is the entire cast going to be on the jury this season? Is it starting at 13? Are we starting at 11? Is it at 9? What is a jury? So what are your thoughts on this entire complex, deep question?
I don't fucking know. It's coming and it'll happen eventually, but like you'll tell us at some point. I'm expecting probably, if not tonight, then 11. Like if you don't say it as Noah or Liz are going out the door that they're the first member of jury, then like I feel like it's coming at 11 or 10, but maybe it's never coming. Who knows? Maybe the jury will be one singular person and just whoever's in third place. That'd be kind of hot.
That honestly, T writes that down. Let's look over to you there, Susie. Susie, live night is happening tonight. Do we like, does that go into our decision making for tonight's vote?
Yeah. Sure.
Cool. Haley, I'll ask you the same question, looking for more of an answer. We have live night tonight. Do you think that has any influence or decision on how tonight's vote is going to go? You're on mute.
Honestly, no. I think we're all trying to get through this motherfucking vote. Excuse my language, but it's been hell. Can we just please get through this vote? And then we'll think about the next thing. Anyways. Oh my God, I'm stressed.
Michael, we did unfortunately lose Hudson this week, as Hudson is deciding to take himself out of the game to take better care of himself. Has that had any effect on this game?
Yeah, of course. Well, first of all, shout out to my boy Hudson, because it's a dirty game. It's a crazy game sometimes, but I have literally had some great conversations with him. So I'm glad we were able to give him the shout out while we can. But yeah, every person here has their own special way of who they are and just being a special part of the game. So no matter, there's no common factor. Like, so if any one of us goes one round, the game is always going to change. So if Hudson wasn't the one going this week, then I mean, anything could have happened and anything could happen in the future. So yes, to your question. But shout out to Hudson one more time.
We all, I know, love Hudson very much and are wishing nothing but the best for them. Megan, question for you. On a scale of 1 to 10, what temperature do you think the game is at right now? With 10 being like, we are at the spiciest this game is going to be, or like 1, like, oh, waiting for something interesting to happen?
To be honest, I feel like we're at like an 8.5. I feel like it's pretty high up there, but like, yeah, again, to gain the game, you never know. So just my perspective.
Okay. Elizabeth, this is not your first time seeing the block. How are you maneuvering this, seeing as this is not the first time you've sat on the block?
I don't know. I mean, the first time that I was on the block, I feel like it was instantly kind of like a lot of people were just sort of figuring out how to work with the people mover nominee, which is super fair. Like, I didn't know what I was doing. I was brand new to the game, and I was like, okay, I guess I'm at risk of losing now. Pretty cool. So it was a lot of like me just sort of sitting back and people very, very kindly explaining to me what was going on and sort of how to go about talking to people and that I might, be safe. I think this time is definitely more. This time I was chosen as a nominee intentionally, which is super valid, because that's what happens in this game. You have to choose nominees intentionally. And I think it felt more like what I had expected and what people were kind of explaining to me the first time, where, there's a lot of talking to people about your game. There's a lot of like, you have to decide how you're going to proceed when you're on the block with someone. So I think as far as maneuvering, I did my best to just be as honest and, polite as possible. Because even if I do go home tonight, I don't want to, be thought of poorly. I really like everyone. And I've actually had a lot of really fun conversations, both, before and after getting nominated, which I think is nice. So I'd love to continue to have these connections in some capacity, moving forward after the game, no matter if I go out tonight, if I end up going out later in the game. Yeah. So I kind of tried to maneuver being the nominee as politely, as gently as possible, if that makes sense.
All right. And my next question goes to you, Noah. On the other hand, this is your first time on the block. How are we maneuvering that?
Yeah, unlike Elizabeth, who was able to escape the block once already, this is my first time on the block. Yeah, it's pretty shitty feeling. If you've been on the block, I guess you know how it feels. The hard part is just deciphering who's telling you the truth or not. I don't know. That's just been something on my chest. But yeah, I've heard the question, but yeah, it's shitty.
All right. And last question is going to go to our late joiner, Steve. Steve, how are you doing today?
Okay. It's been a rough one, but I'm okay. How are you?
I'm doing just lovely. With all of that in mind, we are going to get to the vote, but before we vote, we'll give both the nominees one last chance to plead their case. And Elizabeth, you will go first.
Okay. First I want to say I'm really sorry that I've been so spotty about replying. I know that like every other message from me is usually an apology about I'm so sorry XYZ happened and I couldn't reply. I know that tends to be, I know that can't be easy to work with in the game. And I'm really sorry if I've thrown off anyone's schedule or broken up conversations that were going really well. I do want to say that I have enjoyed talking to each and every one of you. Like genuinely, it's been a tough time for me transitioning from, the constant people and the constant opportunities for socialization of college to suddenly I'm kind of alone. And no matter what happens, it has genuinely been a pleasure to play with each and every one of you. Yeah, and if I do go home tonight, please, 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 please hit me up as soon as you are able to so we can hang out and play more Jackbox. Yeah, thanks everyone.
And Noah.
Hi, y'all, Elizabeth. Lovely to be sitting here with you. You're beautiful, as always. That being said, ladies and gentlemen, gays and theys, this is the time where you can actually start playing the game and making decisions for yourself. The people who I'm talking to, you know who you are, you know what needs to be done, and you know what to follow through on. This is your game and you have it in your hands. Elizabeth, as lovely as she is, she will be a scapegoat this season. If you're sitting on the block beside Elizabeth coming into future rounds, you will be going home against her. I am your shield, I am your pawn, I am the target. Use me, take that to your advantage. If you're sitting on the block against me on eviction night, odds are you're definitely staying compared to me after the target I have on my back. You have the power, you have the majority, it's there. We can lock this in. You know what to do. The majority is there. And if you don't think you're on the majority, you should flip to the majority right now, because I think I'm staying in this game. And I know people should keep me in this game because it's better for your game. And who are we playing for? We are playing for ourselves. We are not playing for anyone else. And I wouldn't be stretching and pushing this hard if I didn't think this was the best move for you. You know who I'm talking to, and I have trust and I have faith in you guys. And I really do believe this is the best genuine move for your game. Elizabeth will make it to the end. If you're sitting beside her, you are not going to make it far in this game. Thanks.
All right. With that being said, we are going to get to the vote. Blake, as the head of household, you will not be voting. Noah and Elizabeth, as nominees, you also will not be voting. Amy, as you are already in next round, you also will not be voting. To the other 9 of you, please send in your votes. We will give you guys until 8:17. All right, friends, we do officially have the votes. When the votes are revealed, the evicted house guests will have just a minute to say their goodbyes, and then they will be removed from the Zoom announcements chat and house chat. By a vote of 8-1, Noah, you have been evicted.
You guys are awful. Am I a jury member? No. Okay, well, that's a lot of shadiness. You guys are human at the end of the day. There's no need for that much excessive lying. Elizabeth, nothing but love. Yeah, there's just no need for that lying, and I'm actually kind of hurt by it, but I'll get over it. It's a game. Blake, you got out the biggest competition in this game, so congratulations. Everyone who I told you information about, those 2 people do have a final 2 deal. Do with that information as you do. I can confirm to you, I was being lenient on it before. They do have a final 2 deal. Figure that out. Do with that information as you will. Yeah, fight hard.
All right, with that, thank you so much, Noah, and you are gone. With that being said, guys, eviction will be, or excuse me, live night will start at 10 o'clock. So you guys are good for the next 2 hours. Thank you all so much and have a great little bit.